Okay, welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be creating another stylized character head. So I'm going to be creating another stylized character head. So let me show you guys what I'll be creating. Something a bit more different in terms of fat on the face. So the one we actually created the previous time has a more structural look to it. So I wanted to kind of try something slightly different, something a bit more dynamic in terms of roundness of the face. So this guy looks like a good one to start. Though we don't have, unlike the previous one whereby we had the front view and the side view and the three-quarter view rather. But for this we only have a three-quarter view. So we're going to try as much as possible to kind of capture most of the detail we have in here. So I'm not going to be starting from scratch. I'm going to more or less like work with this base or is base and then recreate that. So let's get started with it. So I'm going to let me just do like a block. Let me just do like create a folder. Let me create like a folder for this. So I'll create a new folder. Before I create the folder, let me do a duplicate of this first. So this is the finished piece. So I'll do a duplicate of this and I'll drag this all the way down. Then I will select this. More or less, let me just select just the main piece. Let me drag this piece out. So I'm only going to put this in a folder. I'm going to rename that. So I'm going to create a new folder for this, selecting this base, and I'm naming this stylized mail 01. Then I'm just going to, I think the eyes needs to be there also. This should be the eye model. Yeah, this is the eye model. So I'll do a duplicate of this eye, and I'll bring that into the folder. The hair also, I'll drag that into the folder. I should probably even name some of this so just to keep things more organized. So let me just name this mail 01I. Select this guy, rename this also mail 01 hair. Okay. Then mail 01. Okay. Then I'm going to let me just every other miscellaneous. I'm not going to rename that as miscellaneous. Let me turn this off. So from this, let's see this cylinder. I'm going to put that in a group also. And just name this cell. And just bring every other thing that is not actually in use, drag them in there. Okay, this is fine. Let me just duplicate this. Let me bring this eye down and bring it out instead. Then just keep things organized. It should be the edge. Let me just name this to strip. Okay, just keep things organized and name this to, let's name this to mail 02. Let me name this to part mail 02. Right, so I'm just going to hide everything else. So let's specifically work on this. So I'm going to let me delete the higher subdivision level on this, and even hide the eye for now. So this is the eye I'm going to be using. So let's just name this to eye. and I'll just temporarily, okay, let's leave it the way it is though. So now let me put this here instead. Then remove the marks that's in there. So first thing I'm going to do is more or less like adjust the general proportions of the head. People click this dynamic, so I have a much larger brush size to work with. The ears, I'm going to leave the ears where they are, making sure symmetry is turned on. So I'm going to start smoothing some of this out. To increase the smooth intensity all the way to the highest. So I'm just going to start eliminating most of this. Oh, I went overboard on that and erase the lips. I more or less want to like keep the lips and where all these lines are. Let me just smooth this out a bit more. And I'm going to max out this region like so. Blur out the marks, invert the marks. Let me use the max lasso instead. Blur out the marks, invert the marks, and I'll just raise this. No, that's way too much. Need to blur this out even more. So I want to have a better transition around there. I think I over selected those parts, so let me do this again. Let me just reduce this all the way. No, that's still too much. All the way I should be fine. Without that max this out even more. Just push this inward like so. Try a bit closer, to the nose. Even the nose needs to be slightly smaller than it is right now. Okay. Let's do some more cleaning up for the nose. And even shrink the eye inwards a bit more. Let me just smooth most of this out. Just smooth this jagged edge out a bit more. And I'll just flatten this inwards like so. It will be flattened like this. Okay. So the nose needs some drastic change. So I'm just going to smooth most of this out. Smooth this out also. And do something different with the nose. Probably even push the nose upwards a bit more. Yeah, like this should be fine. All this part I need to shrink down a bit more. No, that's way too much though. Just smooth this down. Okay. As you can see, it's a bit broader this side, but here it's a bit slimmer. So I'm going to shrink all of this inwards a bit more. Probably even solo this out. Let me just solo this out so I can have something a bit smaller like so. Okay. All the way to the back, shrink this in. Something more or less like this should be fine, I believe. I'm still going to come back in there and then we'll work that though. It seems fine in there for now. So I'm going to go back into the, let me just show this in, into the eye, and then kind of make the eye a bit smaller than it is right now. Yeah, something like this should be fine. I don't need to be too small though, so something like this should work just fine. Okay. right right off the bat, we already have something. We already have some kind of dynamic. We already have some kind of dynamic stylized character in here already, which you can play with later on if you want to. But I would not be doing that. So I think I have the structure of the head in there now. So what I'm going to do now is start fleshing things out. That will shrink the point in like so a bit more. Not so much. You can see how slightly different the hair is in here. So let me see if I can capture something similar in there also. And smooth out these sharp edges we have in here. Immediately build up brush and build on top of this. Take down the smooth intensity and just smooth this out. More or less like trying to eliminate the sharp edge we have around this. Yeah, I think I'm going to eliminate this guy. With the clay build up brush, I'll just dig. Maybe we use the move tool instead and just push something inward like so. So it should be fine. So this inner part is a bit more hollow. So I'm just going to use the Dem standard brush. Tap this in a bit more. I might just keep I might just keep this just to make it look more feel more interesting. But I'll just change it up a bit more and then just smooth it out. So it shouldn't be too intense. Something more something more or less like this should be fine. I don't curve the air too much. I don't curve the air too much. I think this part looks okay. The other part now we need to fix is the cheeks and just under part of the neck. So before we carry on, let's fix the lips up. Let's fix the lips. No, let me use the move brush and just get this guy looking sad. Maybe something like so. No. Then I probably just look at an angle and kind of extend this out like this. Something more or less like this should be fine. I also need to kind of tighten this out and kind of withdraw out some of the shape in there. So the Dem standard brush, maybe with more intensity for this. No, that's way too angled. It shouldn't be that angled that much. Something like this should be fine. Yeah, something more or less like this. And I'm going to use the pinch brush and kind of pinch this in. Uh, Pinch brush just to tighten this out a bit more. Even tighten this part. Need to tighten this. Okay, let me just use the move brush instead and just raise this lower parts a bit higher like so. Let's see what we have. Okay, it's not too neat though, but that's completely fine. I'm going to adjust that later on. And we have something like this in here. Obviously, you need to kind of tighten that a bit more though. Maybe, just maybe, I can just add one subdivision level to this so I can actually see things a bit sharper. Let me just add one subdivision level to this. And I'm going to be iterating in between them. So I'm going to use the paintbrush and just tighten this a bit more. I think I went overboard with the sharpness, so Ctrl D again. With the standard brush. I think that's way too intense. Let me take down the brush size, the intensity of the brush. Okay. Then I'm going to use the pinch brush to kind of tighten this a bit more like so. It used to be more or less like flesh around there though. Let me tighten this up. So I can tighten this up a bit more. Went out of the orbit in there. Smooth this edge, don't be that sharp. Now use the clay brush to kind of build something on here like so. Take down the smooth intensity and smooth out the edge. And use the damn standard brush to kind of accentuate that a bit more like so. That is slightly weird though, still needs to be more fleshy. Maybe use the standard brush instead. No, that's too aggressive. The clay builder brush should do a better job in there. I think we'll come to that part later. Let me just see if I can accentuate this a bit more. So I kind of blocked out, okay, the lips. And we need to make the eye a bit thicker. Don't need the eyes a bit thicker. So I'm guessing I will use, if, let's try, I don't know. Let's try the clay brush. Something like this should be fine, and I'll just smooth this out a bit more like so. Yeah, that looks fine. I'm going to thicken this upper part a bit more also. And I'll just smooth this out like so. Okay. So let's make some corrections to this. So let's eliminate what we have in here. Completely remove that. Then we start fleshing things out in here, at least for the neck parts. There's going to be a lot of adjustments in here, so let's get started with it. So I'm just going to extend this out, smooth this out, bring out my smooth intensity. And this part seems way too much. Let me even use the standard clay builder brush and just build something on there. Also, the neck shouldn't be this long. So I would want to select all of this. Blow that out a bit more. Add the selection. Nope, that will not work. Mark this is free. And raise this up a bit more. So I'm not going to smooth this out even more. You need to move a lot of things in place. The shoulder should be raised even higher, so let me use the move brush and kind of raise something up like so, something more or less like this. Check this from the side. This part is just way too down. I think I'm going to be using a much stronger smooth for this. Much stronger smooth brush for this. So I'll go to light box, I'll go to brushes. This is arranged alphabetically, so I'll just go to smooth. Yeah, smooth. So open this folder. Look for smooth stronger. So that's smooth stronger now. Now just smooth this out even more. Okay. This is a stronger way to go. Yes, much better. I like how this part folds at the back of the neck though, so I think I'm going to keep that. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually going to keep that. So that makes it feel more interesting. So I'm just going to fill this up to compensate for it. Let's see what we have in here. Okay, so now let's start. I think we already have a good silhouette now. Silhouette looks quite good. You just need to flesh things out a bit more. So I'm going to let's see. Let me return standard brush, kind of block out where this should be. Something more or less like here should be fine. Then let's flesh this out. So I'm going to like it's more like more or less like I don't know if I how to explain this. Let me just block this out. So I'm more or less like respecting this label fold we have in here. Oh, I need to fill this up. This part looks very disjointed. So I'll take down the smooth strong, take down the smooth side, this size, and just smooth this down slightly like so. Okay. So I have to change things up quite drastically. So let me just show you guys what I want to do in here. So I'm going to respect this. No, I'm going to respect this fold we have in here. I'm going to respect this fold. Maybe I will accentuate that a bit more. So I'm going to be using that as a landmark to kind of block out some fleshiness around here. And more or less eliminate this also. So for the eyes, I'm just going to push the eyes inwards a bit more. But still respecting that flow of the eye. Respecting that. I don't want to lose that. So now what I'm going to do here now is to, okay, you can see how we have this a bit tighter. You can see this, see something here now that we need to fix. You can see how this part of this is a label for where it kind of originates from. is a bit closer to the eye. So let's kind of extend that. Let's extend that in a bit more. I don't want to mess things up. I'm looking for a better way to do this. Let's just do this the rough way first. Then we can do an approximation for it and then get this to look better. Since somewhere around here seems fine. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this. I'm more or less going to keep this. I don't need to be too tight up here though, so I'm just being careful of how I manipulate this. This should go inwards a bit more like so, a bit closer to the eye, like so. Then this nose looks good. This is a terrible nose. So let's kind of fill this up. Let's do fillet for this. Since we're here, let me just get this to look a bit better, like so. Alright. Oh, let's see. Okay. Let me see what I'm fixing here. Nope. Let's kind of tighten this out a bit more. Okay. Like so, it should be fine. Alright. The upper eyelid is not too. Let me smooth this out. Let me flesh this out a bit more. Use the clay build-up brush instead. So this part should be a bit covered, like so. Should be a bit tighter, like so. So let me go to the higher subdivision level for this. Let me smooth this out first. Then I'll use them standard brush to kind of block out where this new separator line should be. Should be somewhere around here. Alright, so I'm going to flesh this in a bit more. No, try to make sure I'm filling the same transitional flow around it. No, I'm not respect. Okay, let me just mark this out instead. Let me just mark that out so that we have a tighter respect for that region. Blur the marks a bit more. Then I can tighten this and just build something on here, like so. Then smooth out the top parts. No, this intensity is just way too much. Let me take this down, the smooth intensity, and smooth this out like this. Okay. Now you can see, I don't know if you guys can see, you can see a fold around this part, this upper part here. You can see a fold here. This is that fold comprises of what we have in here. This, let me see if I can mark that out. Let me just mark this out with the standard brush, more or less something like so, all the way here. So that particular eye bag needs to be a bit more fleshy. So I'm going to flesh this. I'm going to flesh that out. So I'm going to use the clay builder brush. So it should be more fleshy. It should be more or less more fleshy around this part. Then we have some kind of blended flow, more fleshy around this part. Then a bit more blended flow around here. Let me zoom out and see what we have here. Something more or less like so. Let me just check this from this view and see how that is coming out. Maybe add a bit more all the way here, just to fill up all the way here. Okay. Then we need to compensate for it here, so we have a better, like a smoother transition around it. And I'm just going to smooth this down. Okay. I'm going to use them standard brush now to more or less like accentuate that line we just created. More or less like accentuate it a bit more. Smooth this out. Right. Now I need to do a bit more. Do a bit more of it. I'm guessing here, I think the inflate brush should do a better job for this. Right. Place. Yes, even better. No, not there, not so much there. Use then standard brush and kind of block this in. Just blend this back down. This part needs to be sharper. Okay, it needs to be sharper and a bit more saggy. It needs to be a bit more saggy. So let's see if we can create that saggy nature around it. So I'm going to use standard brush instead. This is just way too much. Take down the intensity and just make this sag out a bit more around here like so. Even here also kind of get an indentation in there. I'm more or less like being like making this feel a bit more natural, kind of modifying it my own way a bit more. So as far as I'm kind of looking at the reference, I'm still trying to modify this to feel more. I don't know if I should call it believable. Not really believable, but it's not really believable. But this is a stylized character, but more or less like I have more of like those real world anatomical structure in there that will just kind of make it feel slightly or a bit more interesting. So I've done that now. So I'm not going to start fleshing some of this. I can see a huge mass of flesh around around, around this region here, around this region in here. So let's start fleshing that out. Probably add this separator in here, like so. Kind of accentuate where this should be. Okay, like so. We make it a bit more obvious. Yeah, but it needs to be more rounded. It needs to be a bit more rounded. It's not so rounded here, so let's make some adjustment with it on it with our move brush. So that it feels more rounded. Okay. I'm going to be eliminating this sharp edge we have in here. So let's increase the smooth intensity. I'm going to be eliminating this sharpness we have in here. Now I'm losing a lot of this because we just blocked out. So using the standard brush instead, I'm kind of playing this in. We have something in here. It's not seeming right. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't. Yeah, I think it's more or less like a topology issue. It's definitely a topology issue. Topology is not the greatest, so we might just have to maybe slightly ignore that. Okay, so I think we're kind of kind of dug. Let me take this to smooth down a bit. We're kind of dug in a placeholder for this. So let's start fleshing things out. So yeah, so I'm going to use the clay builder brush. start fleshing, but I'll kind of follow this motion, kind of following this motion the way it is. Respecting that needs a label fold, kind of building something on here like so, expecting that fold. Okay, let's check this from this angle. This part needs to be a bit fleshed out. Okay, so I'm going to go like a bit more light-handed on this, then smooth them out, kind of make it feel more natural. So we already have this guy in here, this demarcation in here, which is more or less something around here. So let's more or less like accentuate that and kind of use that as a landmark. More or less like using that as a landmark. So we need to kind of flesh this out even more. So I'm going to basically build a brush. Respecting this, more or less like respecting this landmark we already have in here though. But let me flesh this so went out of. I guess I need to block out this nose, but let's leave the nose for now. Just leave the nose for now. Let's flesh this out first. Smooth this in. Okay. So now I need to make this feel more rounded. So I'm going to go more or less like in a rounded fashion around here. Around here also. This is what we have in there. That seems fine. Just do smooth for that. We need to adjust this though. So I'll smooth this inwards a bit more. Ish. I'm going to respect those lines we added there. More or less like trying to respect those lines in there. Let me zoom out so I get a better view on this. So I'm just going to use them standard brush and then add something in here. More like a landmark to kind of follow. More or less like a landmark. Okay. Maybe do this all the way here, another landmark in here. Right. But I can see how this kind of like extends. This extends all the way outward. So we really need to kind of fill this up even more. Maybe we will adjust this like so. Let's see, this neck needs to be a bit broader. Let's smooth this out. Let's more or less like block out where the end of the neck should be. So somewhere around here. Something more or less around here should be fine. Then I'll just build on top of that. Okay. So I'm going to have to raise this up a bit, slightly higher than where it is right now, a bit higher like so. This one should be also higher than it is right now. Bring this closer. Right. Do some more filleting here. Okay. Then I can use I'll just smooth this out. Okay. Right. Still a lot of things we can fix in here though, but let's just keep working on this slowly until we have our desired result. I'm taking down the smooth intensity now. I'm just more or less like smoothing this back in place. Already have a fat guy looking in here, but we need to kind of make this feel more recognizable to this guy we have in here. So let me just fill this up, smooth this in, kind of accentuate this a bit more, respecting that as a label fold, kind of respecting this all the way down here, like so. Maybe it's more around here. Kind of making sure I'm kind of filling this up, getting a better transition around it. More or less like still respecting those blockings we did in there. Okay. Right. Smooth this in. Fill this part up. Also need to have something in here that goes across all the way here, that connects to the nose. So that's why I'm going to fill in something in here like so. Okay. Use the standard brush, holding alt, and then just make sure I dig in here slightly. If I went overboard though, use the higher intensity of that standard brush. Kind of get something a bit thick around here and smooth. No, intensity just way too much. Smooth this back in. Okay, we have something in there now. Let's see. Smooth this in. Let me kind of block out or kind of bring back those forms again. I think this part needs to be raised up a bit higher. Maybe it's higher like so. Maybe even do a fillet. Still respecting this flow, maybe even do a fillet for this. Now smooth all of this down. I just want to keep this creased part at the back though. Okay, so it's beginning to feel more interesting. Use them standard brush and kind of accentuate this line a bit more. Smooth this down. So let's do something for the nose. This nose has been broken out for a long while now. So let's do something for it. So I'm going to use the them standard brush. Carve out something more or less around here like so. Then time for us to make it feel more rounded. Probably use the clay build-up brush and do that. So I'm just going to round this up. Okay. Spot also needs more fleshiness though. So this should be more or less like raising all the way up here like so. Should be more depth around here. Compensate for it around here. Let me use the standard brush and more or less like carve out a quarter line around here that goes inwards. And this shape of the nose ish, we're just gonna smooth it out. So that's way too smooth, intensity is way too much. Take this down a bit more. Still too much. 3 I guess. Now just smooth this in. Something like this. Let's get a better transition around here. Now smooth this in. Let's check this from the side view. Let's see how this does in the side view. Because the three-quarter view is like a more or less like our main reference for this. Let me see if I can round this up for the under part also. Compensate for it here. So let's go and increase the intensity of the smooth a bit more, smooth this out even more. I think I can safely use the move brush now and begin to do some light fixing around some parts to kind of get this to look more believable. We need something in here. Smooth this in. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we shouldn't make this guy look too old though. Because this sagginess in here will make the guy feel too old. Let me just push this in slightly. Smooth this out. Okay. We're getting there. I'm more or less looking at the silhouette now from this side view. To kind of compensate for the silhouette on the front view. So I'm guessing I should do something like, let me push this in. The jawline should be a bit outward, it's slightly a bit more. This part should be inwards a bit more. So more or less, let's say we can capture like a silhouette around here. So what I'm going to do is to try to capture that silhouette from the front view, even though we don't have a front view. So this part is already inwards, which is fine. But the jawline should extend outward like so. Should be extended out like this. Let me use the damn standard brush and more or less like accentuate where that should be. Smooth that in. Now that's way too intense. Shouldn't be that sharp. I think we already have something in there already. This part should be slightly broader, looking. Let me use the remove brush, slightly broader like so, broad like so, broad like so, broad like so, inwards, slightly inwards, inwards even more. This part definitely should be inward. This particular part is messing things up a bit more, so I'm going to push that inwards. Maybe we use the smooth brush and just let me just use smooth brush and just move that inwards like so, in like so. Check this from this angle. Use this higher. Use this inwards. Yeah, I think it's kind of getting the silhouette in there now. This part needs to go inwards a bit more. Let's see what we have in here. Something more or less like so. This part is way too broad. This one is way too broad. So I'm going to more or less try to shrink this in slightly like so. But we need to get a better transition to it though. Let's get a better transition to it. So I'll just do something more or less like just to have a better transition around here. Something more or less like this. Okay. So I'm going to use them standard brush now, kind of create that landmark we have in there. Create this landmark in there. Okay. This is looking good already. So let's see if we can block out that expression. Just kind of capture that expression. Just try and capture that expression. Yeah, that's the expression in there. It's more or less like the expression in there. Probably need to, no, that's way too intense. Maybe we should dig in here a bit more, not too deep though. Let's use them standard brush, kind of carve out where the eyeline should be. Maybe dig in here a bit, slightly a bit more, smooth that in, or out rather. Using the alt and accentuating those sharp edges, holding alt. Maybe not necessarily so. So I'm going to use the move brush and try to fix this up a bit more like so. Okay, yeah, the lips, we kind of lost some of the details for the lips. So let's make sure we have those in. More or less like need more subdivision level for this, and then just go a bit higher. Smooth this in. Yeah, that seems to be looking fine, I guess. Let me just go to the side view and kind of block this. Let me use the clay build-up brush instead. Nah, I don't think clay build-up brush should do a better job for us. Standard brush, I guess. Yeah, this seems to do something. Oh man, what did that just do? Where did all this come from? Oh, they're supposed to be there. Because we went to higher subdivision level, so that this part that I've not really smoothed out, sticking up there. So let's just go to increase the smooth brush and then just smooth this out. No, that eye part is not there yet though. Let me just do a slight smooth on that. Okay, yeah, this guy seems to be there now. So some of these need to smooth out. So what is extra edges, let me just get that erased. I also need to use the dem standard brush to more or less like accentuate some of these deep cuts we have in here. Like this one for the neck region. Something more or less like in here also. So to go all the way to the back more or less. Just to make this feel more interesting, I'll just add something in here and smooth that out. Showing me that shadow. Something like that. Just make it feel more interesting. Yeah, I need to smooth this out obviously. Smooth this clay build up we did in there. Okay. No, no, this needs to feel a bit saggy, especially where we have some of these more or less like how do I explain this? Almost like indentation around here. It needs to be a bit, it's slightly more saggy and on the edge. So I'm going to use the standard brush instead to kind of add some kind of sagginess around here. Wherever those line is, I'm just going to add some kind of sagginess around there. I don't know if it's very obvious in there, but I can't really tell. This jawline shouldn't be protruding out way too much like so. Should be a bit down like so. More or less something like that should be fine. So the standard brush, I'm just going to add a bit more sagginess around here. Make sure it's turned up, this mask is actually turned up. Just add some sagginess around there. This needs to be a bit more like so. Make this thing a bit saggy. Smooth this in. Like so. I think the lines are a bit too sharp. This part feels a bit wet. Let me just smooth this out a bit more. Topology is not doing much justice in here, but that's completely fine. Now this guy in here, I need to push this. Let me get this at an angle like this. This needs to go inwards. Needs to be more separator line in here. Smooth this in. And this needs to go inwards like so. Need to have a better transition around there though. Transition here is not so much in there. Let's kind of fix that up. So I'll just kind of do something like so and smooth that in. With them standard brush, just dip in here a bit more. Smooth this out. Standard brush and just do a fillet something around here. Let's see what we have in now. Let's see what we have now. Yeah, it's disjointed. It's slightly disjointed. So I'm going to use move brush and kind of get a better flow to this higher low. Now use the trim dynamic brush and kind of trim this side a bit more like so and smooth that in. I don't know. I think the nose. I'm guessing the nose needs to be a bit wider at this edge. This would have a better. Doesn't feel right on this edge. Let me just use the inflate brush and just inflate this part out a bit more. Smooth this out. Use the move brush and extend this out a bit more. Let me do this from here. Yeah, I can do it better from here. So this transition should be like this part should be higher, a bit lower. Get a better transition to it. Then this should extend all the way out in here like so. Smooth that in. Use the clay builder brush and build on top of this a bit more. Went overboard. Something like so. Maybe not all the way here. Smooth this in. So it should be fine. I should have like some kind of, let me see. Should have some like some kind of let me see, let me just check this from, let me check this from, let me see, let me use the move brush and kind of do something like so. Let me check this from the top. This part seems weird, so with the move brush I'll just, this part should be a bit closer, just move this out. Yeah, obviously obviously topology for this is not doing this justice, but that's completely fine. This is just for, this is just to show you guys how to go about it. If you have better topology for this, you just, they will definitely do a better job to get this to feel even better than it is right now. So I'm going to go to the top. So I want to look at the nose from this top view. I want to kind of get this nose to feel more rounded. It should have like a, it should be like more or less like a ball around, more or less like a ball. More or less like a ball. So, but it's not looking so much like a ball in there now. So let's kind of make this feel bally. We're getting there. The side view. Should be a separator line in here. Goes all the way in here. If I can even do something like so, and I'll smooth this down. Shouldn't be too intense though. More or less like a clown kind of nose. Something supposed to be around here. Trying to figure out what should be around here. You know what? Let's see if you can. Let me do something like this. I'll cut this in, smooth that out. Then I'll cut this in a bit more. Then I'll use the move brush and kind of raise this a bit higher. Maybe push this outward like so. Let's see what we have. The nose is obviously too big now. Well, I'm sure you guys get the idea already. Can keep refining this even more, but I think this should be, fine the way it is right now. Let me round up this lower part of the neck. Okay. Yeah. think we can safely call this done, except for just creating the hair. I think when we kind of block the hair in, this should feel slightly better than the way it is right now. Yeah, the lips. I don't know if I should shrink the lips. I'm guessing I shouldn't. I don't think I'm going to shrink the lips a bit more. But this guy has more of like a tighter lip around it. But I'm going to leave this the way it is. I don't want to get to have a too tight of a lip in there. But I'll definitely need to maybe standard brush. And now more or less like have a sharp line around here. Okay. Sharpen out those lines. Then we'll look for places whereby those lines should be a bit sharper too. So I'm going to use, yes, let me go out of this. I think I'll just leave it the way it is for now. If there's any correction I need to make to this guy, I can definitely do that later on. This part, this feels weird. This feels weird. Let's kind of get this and tighten that out with the pinch. I keep bringing something out. Keep bringing something out. PI. Let's no take the use the smaller brush size and just tighten this in a bit more. We use the standard brush and do something around here like so. This definitely needs to be rounded up a bit more. Maybe I can just, yes, let me just do that as the last thing. Some of these edges should be somewhat smoother than it is right now. So I'm not going to smooth all of this out. Look, my topology is not too great though, so I'm just trying to get this to feel as neat as possible though. But if I don't really much for this, I should have a better topology for this to kind of make this feel feel slightly better than it is right now in terms of getting this to feel more smoother. Like for example now we have issues on the eyes. You can see the issue we have on the eyes because we don't have enough topology because we don't have enough topology to kind of hold that properly. We even get this eye to feel right. Feels all jagged up. Okay, yeah, let's plug the eye in. Let's get this eye plugged in. The eye should be definitely out of place, obviously. Yeah, this gives me a lot of issues. So let me just do an auto group for this. Just do a quick auto group, auto group. Let's work with only this guy for now. Let me just get this in place. And try to make sure the eye wraps around it. Yeah, something more or less like this. Then let's kind of get the eye to wrap around it properly. I think this will be the last thing I'll do in this tutorial. So let me just try to wrap this eye around this a bit properly. I'm supposed to max out this lower part of the eye so I can really work on the upper parts. Okay. So let's see what we have in here. This needs a bit more work done. So I'm just going to be extra careful in here now. Just try to get this to feel right. Just try and get this to feel somewhat right. Okay. Maybe just extend, bring this down a bit more, down a bit more. Invert the marks. I think I can safely invert the marks now. Try to fix up the lower part of the eye. Get this out. A bit more like so. The eye feels a bit smaller though, but this should be fine. This for now. Should be fine for now. So I can just safely selecting the eye. I can just do a mirror and wet for this now. So I'll do a mirror and wet. Oh, let me delete it in first. Mirror and wet. So this seems fine now, I guess. Include this outward. Yeah, this is something you can obviously do by yourself and just get this to feel right, but I think this should be fine for now. Yes, you can always go in and then tweak this to make this feel a bit better though if you want. But I think I'm going to be leaving this the way it is. This seems fine for now. Maybe if I go one subdivision level higher, maybe one subdivision level higher, around 3 million, I should have something more interesting to work with. Well, let me not begin to ruin this because because the topology on this already is not even good enough to begin with. So I think let me not go overboard on this. I'll just leave this the way it is right now. So in the next lesson we'll begin to do some other refinements on this and then probably just fixing the hair in the next tutorial to make this feel a bit better. But any other thing we should be doing here should be just minor correction on this which you can obviously do by yourself. It's not really a big deal to kind of do that in here right now. I've already blocked out most of the silhouette of the major shape in there. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson.